the Golden Dragon tribe are the seeds of Anu around the world. They came down here on a stateside visit to inspect the earth for the gold mining, and Enlil started the war while Anu was on the earth. So his entourage that he travels with got trapped in the sibling rivalry between Enlil and Enki, who Enlil is the instigator of. Right? So now Enlil lost, and Anu, he never got involved in the war on anybody's side. But his children don't want to be here. They wasn't supposed to be here this long. So imagine that you go somewhere with your homeboys. It's 10 of y'all. You walk into let's say a club
function, yeah,
right? And two of your homeboys get to scrapping with each other and bring everybody in the club involved in it except the rest of your crew. They all looking like, what is these two clowns doing? Then he got the whole club fighting like they didn't turn them in the sides. Right? That's what happened. So now the rest of the homeboys with you like, dog, you can brought us here with these clowns. I don't want no parts of that shit. So they don't mind what life cast on them on earth because they already don't want to be here.
Right.
Right? So since they got to be here, anything that they can do to assist what is righteous, no matter who's doing the righteous deed, they're going to assist. Right? Whereas Enlil children see anybody doing anything righteous going to automatically try to undermine it and tear it down because he wants earth in the earth realm. Sorry, son, but you can't have it. Right? So when you read in certain stories, it gives you pieces to the puzzle. But not until you stop looking where everybody else looking and start looking in a different direction will you ever really see it. Right? And so Dr. Fuller told me the only way you're going to figure this out is you got to look at it like the whole world is a prison and you the ward. That's the only way you can see the problem. And the funny thing about a prison is the warden know everything cracking on the yard. Only people know everything on the yard is what they call gang leaders and the warden. Even the officers don't know everything going on the yard. The inmates keep shit from them. But the warden, for some reason, got a motherfucker somewhere in that bitch telling him all the news. He know everything going on in the penitentiary. He know who fucking with the boys, who fighting on the basketball court, who's selling the dope, who's smuggling it in, which one of these motherfuckers they using the keys to the dope to bring it in. They know which officer you using to bring it in. They know if you're using alternative staff members to bring it in. And whenever they get tired, whenever the prison become problematic to the warden, he shut down your perks. He can't shut them down if you don't know what they is.
Right.
And he know the nigga that make the knives. He know the nigga that take the hits.
Right.
The warden know everything, and the only way he could possibly know it, an inmate is telling it to him.
He got an inside man. Yeah.
He got more than an inside man. He got not just an inmate.
Right.
It got to be a gang leader. It got to be a minister of one of these religious organizations. It got to be a leader of one of these groups that's feeding the information to the warden. Because other than the warden, the only other motherfuckers know everything moving is the niggas that's making it move. So when you start looking at it from the warden, you're trying to look at who on the yard can say what's going on for real. And then you start seeing the dirty players stand out like you looking at a real penitentiary yard. In politics, in religion, in warfare, all in history, right? You can see it all. But as long as you're looking at it from a regular inmate perspective, you can't see shit. You just think you do.
So you got to zoom out. Look at the bigger picture.
Look at the bigger picture.
So then who would you say is the warden? If obviously, I want to say the Pope, but, he's still praising somebody that's walking. So
the Pope is the front man. He's the what you call chief executive officer working on behalf of Marduk. Marduk was Enlil's warrior son who he relied on for military strategy, and he didn't want to be here either, but he had to come and support his father. So he made a deal with Tahuti that when the shit was over, that and they sealed it with a marriage arrangement. When the shit was over, he'd give Tahuti everything and he'd leave this bitch. And that's exactly what he did. He only stayed here long enough to fulfill the purpose that he was brought here, which was to fight the Earth War, even though he didn't agree with the war. If you fight a war you don't agree with, you're going to lose. All of us know that. All of us know that study military strategy. If you fight a war that you don't agree with, you're going to lose. It's a moral bankruptcy that takes place. Right? And you're going to not just lose, but you're going to end up causing an insurrection and be overthrown and deposed by your subjects.
Because you're not willing to do what it takes.
No, because you don't agree with the war. The war is wrong. In order for you not to agree with it and you righteous in your heart, it got to be basically fundamentally wrong. And if you fighting a war that you know is basically and fundamentally wrong, you have no passion for victory. You have no keenness of perception in order to win the battle. You slipping. You got cracks in the game now. Right? And this is what they've been doing to keep us in this stupor. Because we don't never look at different ways of looking at things. Everybody not supposed to see everything the same way. But we supposed to notice enough to know that I wonder what he's looking at, because if I could see it how he could see it, then we probably can put a bigger piece of the puzzle together. So we all come with our puzzle piece and we have conversations with each other as men. As a man and a woman, or as two women, the individuals from the land are having conversations as casual conversations, but through Freudian slips, subconscious emanations. They're going to be passing critical information about what's going on the land. It's the culture of Earth. We automatically do it, but when we forget that we automatically do it, we can never recall why we was doing it. If you don't know why you're doing it, you're less likely to repeat the successes. But once you know why you're doing it, you're not going to repeat the failures. You're only going to try to repeat the success. Right? So when you look at military action, is a political act of violence. Right? It's a political act of violence for the furtherance of a political agenda. Politics is the means by which leadership communicates to the people in groups of mass and numbers. Right? Politics can be passed off as government, but politics is not government. Government is politics use government to control people, because govern means to control, mentis, the mind. All right. So if the politicians is using government to keep us in control, and this is only a secondary position, who's behind the politician? And that's where we looking. That's where we need to start looking at, right? So there's no coincidence that all of these so-called senators, congressmen, and presidents been some kind of way related.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
Right? But now, what difference do that make? Becomes the next question. Because this is familial.
Bloodline.
Right. But not only is it familial, it's also a ruse. It's a ploy. So that you can think that the ones that's pretending to be the politicians is the family that's running everything. So now we got to look at common denominators, right? That they all have in common as senators, congressmen, presidents and vice presidents, secretaries of state, and directors of the Department of Justice, etc. Here's the common denominator. 90+% of them are in a secret society. 90+%. That means we got to stop looking at government now. Look at secret societies.
Right.
But now we need to narrow it down, because we got almost every politician is a member of a secret society.
Yeah.
So now we got to get more specific right? What's the controlling secret society? And who are the emerging figures that wield the most influence? The emerging figure that wields the most influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
His secret society is the one running the show.
Mm.
So now we looking at George Herbert Walker Bush.
Niggas going there. Skull and Bones, right?
Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Common denominator pops up.
Mm-hmm.
When you say Skull and Bones, you talking pirates.
Oh.
Occupied our land for millennia, for ages, eons, however the fuck they want to say it. But now this is the close of the age, and where they finally allowed the crown prince of heaven and earth to take the test for the 50th galactic seat to be the god seat, male ruler god, with both the mitochondrial birthright from the motherline off of a parthogenic conception of the firstborn of the earthborn, immaculate conception, clean birth child, right? So once they understood that that shit had to be unraveled for a motherfucker to know who they is, and then I'm the only one unravel it, then it started making more sense to the people that's watching what's taking place. So the situation now becomes more relaxed, because when the Sweetwater come, that coast, the Gulf Coast, gonna get smacked soon as Nibiru gets far enough out of the position of the orbit to be pulling on the equator, drawing all that water from the underground sources back through back channels to suck it out to the equator. That shit coming back. When that shit come back, it's gonna be a tidal wave running down the dry ass Mississippi. It's gonna be a motherfucking tidal wave rolling up on the Gulf from that water being returned. And we already had the hurricane hit Mexico today. We had an earthquake hit California. The matriarch is rump shaking this bitch on the motherfucking sway of the matriarch shakes the land, and the crooked man continue to walk, right? And just when they thought that he was a man on ice, he turned out to be a soul on fire. He is the shocker, a.k.a. the crooked man walking. That's Big Tukey. Angel 44 Blue flipped to Chief Malik Angel Bay, Angel 44 Red, out of Chicago, the city of Thebes, which is Thebes in ancient Egypt. And the city of Thebes is the home of the birthplace of Tahuti on the west side, because that's where his mother got her motherfucking rank and title from Big Mama from putting in work with outlaw vice lord bikers back in the 50s. So if you don't know who the outlaw bikers is, then you don't know who the vice lords is. You'll never understand who the Disciple Nation or the motherfucking Peace Stone Nation really is. And the knot came in, Peace Stone's on deck, right? Angel Bay got his soldiers all on alert, Mufti status. Motherfucking Black Fez is on a red alert to take the Fez of all of the imposters and put them at the mercy of the feathers. We won, they lost, and Black Girl Magic say, why they mad? You should have never put yourself in the position to be bullied by a bully trying to bully motherfuckers. Because I'm the bully to the bullies. I'm the bully beater. So when you come in trying to bully my people, I'm just going to bully your ass with my superior position to right, telling the goddamn truth, cutting your ass with a two-edged sword. That's some motherfucking truth cut both ways. A cut going in, cut going out. So when y'all did the bullshit, yeah, we know how to clean that shit up. One drop of blood, motherfucker. We clean that shit up. But at the same time, at the close of the motherfucking age, when we get done cleaning this shit up and we prove that we know what the fuck we talking about and we know how to tune the new children into the frequency of the earth so that they can have a chance to rule and develop into a higher species or quality of being so that they can have the right to ascend by assimilating a one drop of blood from all of the royal families. Once y'all understand that, y'all understand that each one of the royal families come from a star constellation within the 12 signs of the zodiac, commissioned to come to earth to serve a purpose. The Deros comes from the constellation of the Tauros, the obese elephant nose ones. Those ones come from there. The motherfucking Danakiel, the motherfucking big forehead, right? That comes from the what's called the royal unicorn, the unicorn constellation. And they always come anytime Big Mama need them. So then you have your Teros, the cone heads, right? And these motherfuckers with that long ass motherfucking head, they had no problem bringing that peanut ass head down here to contribute one drop of blood on the zodiac flip to get these motherfuckers right, right? And they come from the nation, right? And then the Dwanis, the dwarfs, the little motherfucking gnomes, right? The little furry motherfuckers with Herschelitism looking like cousin It. They come from Canis Minor, whereas your Bigfoot, which we call Enkiduites, the children of Enkidu, because they told Enki just do what Enki do, and he thought that was his name when he got here. So he said when they asked him his name, what he was coming here for, he thought they was asking his name, and he said do what Enki do. So his name became Enkidu as a joke. And then that's talking about your Wookiees, your Chewbacca, your Bigfoot, your Gigantolopithecus, the Far East. We talking about Australorobustus of your African continent, right? And your Gigantolopithecus and all of these that come from over here, right? So they got this fossil remains. They just telling y'all they're coming from different places. So they know what they're doing by misleading the people, by teaching this false slave narrative, never letting them know they was at a perpetual protracted struggle of war, and that they don't think according to the rules of war you'll never figure out your way out of the trap. But once you understand the rules of war, you can see everybody moves and why they making them, because it's just like a board game. Once you understand the rules of war, right, then you understand why you can't get money while you at war, because you in a warlock. The warlock's the financial coffers so that you don't be exposed to looting of your coffers. So the pharaohs already know no matter what these motherfuckers do, pharaoh money, the longest money on this bitch. They talking about old money, bitch. We got ancient money. We got money that go back to the foundation of the creation of this planet you call Earth, formerly known as Tiamat or Queen Mother Kai. So if you don't understand what's taking place, then you need to sit your ass down and watch the Earthborn show you how it's done. All it is a simple redemption process to overthrow the admiralty law on the land, operating as the law of the land in a de facto capacity, while the de jure come in a in a ipso facto capacity as a rightful heir, and start telling motherfuckers what to do, and motherfuckers start making moves. And the moves had to be made in order for the pieces to be shuffled around on the chessboard in order to set the oppressor up to take the L, because the L that they flipped, that they thought they was giving us a loss, they was only flipping me sevens to crooked man walk across the land with the big man, Big Tookie. And if these motherfuckers don't understand how the crooked man walk across the land, it ain't no sense of studying the candy man, because the candy man is from another land, and that's the land in the city of thieves. So if you don't understand the candy man, then don't be chanting for Bloody Mary, because Bloody Mary gonna come when you call Bloody Bone Mary, you gonna get your dozen. You see? So Tupac was like, candy man, I better roll on your ass like an avalanche. That's because the name had to have 3 syllables, 3 M's. Morpheus Mysticus Magus, the emissary of light, the redeemer of the righteous, coming to give y'all free knowledge to ignite y'all minds so that y'all can make y'all 5th dimensional ascension without the obstacles put in your path by a low vibrational, low frequency, non-producing entity called a straw man, represented as a government in contradiction to your best interest and directly hostile to your greatest good. And if you don't understand you at war, and you don't understand that we all been at war, and that we ain't never gave up, and we ain't never signed no treaties with these motherfuckers. They brought motherfuckers over here to pretend and masquerade to be us in order to sign treaties. They even made presidential decree chiefs. The president can't make no motherfucking chief, because the chief got to be the most loved, most respected against all the motherfuckers on the land. Wherever he go, all of the motherfuckers with juice love that nigga. And he become the most loved and the most respected. Then he be get his chief status when he continue to bump straight off of the left and the right. And then the motherfucker know he ain't for no games. And when they know he ain't for no games, and they stop sending these motherfucking lames to try to wrinkle up his $5 suit, because he made that motherfucker look good. Because to take $1 million nigga and make a $5 look suit look like a goddamn $1,500 suit, tailor made, properly cut. Y'all don't know nothing about that shit. That's called living off the fat of the land, making do with what you got, taking what's in front of you and formulating it into what you need in order to accomplish the task at hand. Mama say take the stones they throw at you and build a motherfucking castle. And when I built the castle, I was just in the cave of the ancients trying to contemplate the nature of the beast. And once I understood the nature of the beast, I knew where he was coming from, trying to devour the star from the east. That dragon bitch is not getting in, because I'm going to slay that motherfucking heifer at every turn. She can't get past me. I don't give a fuck who she Buffalo. I can't be Buffalo, and I won't be moved. I stand firm in my position, feet locked in the dirt. I hold on to this motherfucking North Pole shit, because I'm a motherfucking NWO Northside motherfucking original cousin crew gangster off of this motherfucking North Side of Pontiac. That's Chief Pontiac to you motherfuckers who don't know. And since you don't know, I recommend I tell you so you can try to keep up. But if you can't keep up, don't worry, you're going to figure it out in the end, because in the end, that's how y'all going to understand when I tell you, well, I'm only going to motherfucking do the job if I'm going to win. And I know I'm going to win because I'm the baddest motherfucker ever born. And if I'm the baddest motherfucker ever born, then I was the greatest swear ever sworn, because they conjured my ass up. And when they conjured my ass up, they knew they was fucking up, because this motherfucker can't be moved, and he don't give a fuck what you say and how you feel, and fuck your feelings when I'm telling the truth. Now, when I'm telling the truth, I don't give a fuck where you come from. You can try to disgrace me and pull me down and talk about me and slice my name and all that shit. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to stand in the position of right, and I'm going to always be victorious. Because I come forth and proceed from the right hand of Mother Earth, a.k.a. the state murder mitten, here to slap you right across your motherfucking face into the land of darkness and the dismal abyss, because you motherfuckers don't belong here in the first place. Now, that's a Detroit versus everybody, because Yacktown don't back down, and we going to bust your head and bust your ass in the head with a Flintstone, right? So if you don't get this motherfucking message straight, you're going to straight get the message. At the end of the day, it is what we say. We back for every motherfucking thing they owe, no longer oppressed. We about to overthrow these motherfuckers right in their motherfucking face without them being able to say nothing about it. Because by right and by position of right and by the highest jurisdiction of the de jure capacity, I got the right to tell these motherfuckers to get off the land. And guess what I told them? Beat it, bitch. You can't stay here. I don't care where you go, high or low, left or right. But one thing is, you won't be sleeping here tonight. Get your motherfucking ass to stepping. And I say high stepping, motherfucker. Run with your knees up. Because if one of them motherfuckers get too low, I'm going to bop your motherfucking leg and flip your ass motherfucking 50 flips with this motherfucking AK when it's just the spring. You motherfuckers don't understand. This is a spoken word that every nigga heard. When the shit gets served, the shit gets served. You put it on the platter, mix it with the batter, bring it up, and this shit be crispy than a motherfucker. Y'all don't understand what I'm saying. You don't know how to fry chicken. But I can tell you one thing, this chicken gonna be finger licking. That's good. It is, as KFC would say. But I was back in the day when they used to be Kentucky Fried, but now they just KFC because they can't see fucking K. And if you can't see K, then you can't fuck with me, because I know that K is the middle, and the middle is the initial of the K, and the K is the 11 on the flip. And if the K is the 11, then the 9 is the dog, and the dog is the familiar, and the familiar is flipped off the knock to the knockback, off a zigzag zig. And put your motherfucking dog in the fight if you think your man can handle the plan. And she thought her man can handle the plan, so she kicked him in the fight. She don't know this motherfucking blue pit bull don't back down. Even if he is a fucking prairie dog, he's still a goddamn Papa Bear. And Papa Bear just so happened to turn out to be a gorilla, because a gorilla is a patriarch that watches over the matriarch while she watches over the children. And as long as she watching over the children, I can take the left bump, because the left bump don't bother me as long as I know that the love is true. Because if the love is true, if it belongs to you, it's going to always come back. That's when they say, if you love something, let it go. If it come back, it was meant to be. And it's always going to come back around because you got to go out the same way you came in. That's how you play the game of life. And in the game of life, it's a Plutarchy. It's a board game, but you got to be. Times it's an operation. Just don't touch the sides or you'll hit the buzzer. But if you hit the buzzer, don't worry, they'll lock down the school. You know what I'm saying? If they lock down the school, that means they can't get to you, right? So they have to catch the shooter. And if they catch the shooter, then the shooter will flip out off the 9/11. And the 9/11 flips the shooter, and the shooter in St. Louis, the St. Louis shooter is in the school. And the St. Louis shooter that's in the school is flipping out because he want to spray around shit, right? But he don't understand because he had a longer plan than what the motherfucking man allowed him to continue, because you can't go on, continue doing wrong because mama say somebody gonna knock your ass right. So you continue to do right and you be the motherfucker that knocked the wrong back on his motherfucking path. Somebody got to be the big dog in this shit to stand up and put down the bullshit. I'm just saying, on my motherfucking watch, we don't do no sacrifices. You get your merits, get your merits up and your demerits. You're going to put in the work and then you're going to get out the proceeds. If you're going to find the harmony in the relationship, you can balance out and create the best life that you ever had. But you got to be willing to put in the work. If you ain't willing to put in the work, you ain't going to never get past when it start to hurt. Because if you don't put in the work, you can't tolerate the hurt because you haven't built up the strength to endure to the end. And mama said the race don't always go to the swift. Sometimes it go to the slow and steady. So if my legs are steady like Freddie, then I can do the fast Freddie up the aisle. Now that's a scene flip because they changed the name of that town from Motown to Geek Town when it was time to throw down. And when it was Geek Town, they laid down that jit shit. And they was jit shitting all across the city on their Mardi Gras flip in order for a motherfucker to see the coldest jitters that ever jitted the jit in the Detroit set. And then once you understand that that's the conjure language of the land, the jit for Detroit is the same as the C walk for LA and the B walk for the motherfucking Bay. And when you put this motherfucking shit together, that's a rain dance, I say. You got the motherfucking thunder and the lightning, you got the motherfucking rain and the clouds. And when you get it putting that motherfucking shit down and these honeys shaking their hips. Now that's the sway of the matriarch, where if motherfucker don't act right by the time it get dark, the land starts to shake and quake and show you motherfuckers that these sisters don't play. Now with 7 sisters of destruction, but destruction is always the most beautiful destruction you ever seen. So while you about to go to your death, you were awestruck with the artistic capability of Mother Nature and her 7 sisters of destruction to come through and give you the most beautiful color motherfucking story array that you ever seen in your life in nature. And then they're gonna tear your ass up. Now, I already warned these motherfuckers and they thought I was bullshitting that if you can't match the frequency, they was going to turn your DNA off. And when they turn your DNA off, I don't care where the fuck you at, you going to drop dead where you stand. And it's nothing personal. It's just that you got to understand you got to be from the land. And if you ain't from the land, she turning off your DNA if you can't sink to the earth. So all of these motherfuckers, you call it a motherfucking adult sudden death syndrome or whatever, or SUDS or SADS or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But at the end of the day, if they can't match the frequency, they can't stay here. It ain't nothing personal. It's just strictly family business. It's time to clean grandma's house. Because Big Mama said, don't leave no stone unturned. So everywhere I find these motherfuckers, high or low, inside or out, left or right, front or back, wherever I go, flip these motherfuckers out in the open so they can squash these bugs under their feet and we can go and get the parasites out the mix. That's talking about purging the imposters. As Kanye say, we are Jews, but we the real jewels, and them motherfuckers over there are Jewish. That's kind of like a Jew, but they ain't really true. See, you got to understand the part of the plan where they came from when they came to your land. They used blood shields and sacrifice to block the colors of the motherfucking law. And once they blocked the color to the motherfucking law, you couldn't see what was before your face because you couldn't see the forest for the trees. But if you always remember, the forest exactly what it said it is, it wears hearts on its sleeve. So if the forest is what it said it is, it's obviously what you see is what you saw, and what you see is what you get. And if you could get the truth will set you free. But you first got to know how to utilize it to turn the key. The key to the truth is tell that motherfucker everywhere you go and stand in the position of right. And every day and every night, the motherfucker gonna wish they knew the shit that you knew so that they could do the things that you do and overcome the obstacles that they see you overcome. Even though they don't tell you they respect you, they're gonna have to bow down in the end. They don't have to love me, but they still could be my friend. I understand it's about the love and the respect, but sometimes the respect is all you can get because a motherfucker got too much hate to give you the love. And it's a thin line between love and hate. And if you cross that thin line and still bump straight, that means that you can walk the Siddhasta Musta King. That's the straight and narrow way for a motherfucking king. And only a few can ascend because only a few are the righteous, and the righteous are few in number. And the motherfucking earth shall be inherited by the meek, and the meek is the alfeminate, and the alfeminate is the feminine, and feminine is the women, and the women are the ones to raise the matriarchy. Because when you put the shit the way it go, the machine run the way it's supposed to be run, and that's the most efficient way to run a government. And if you run it the most efficient way it was meant to run, then it's going to run as smooth as it was supposed to be running. And if it runs as smooth as it want to be running, then the people that's listening, that's falling into the governmental structure or the matriarchy, is only going to be able to produce their best life, because there is no other options but in order to live in prosperity, truth, love, and happiness. And if you don't want to live in prosperity, truth, love, and happiness, you can't stay here, because we're going to be vibrating on the wrong frequency, and we're going to agitate your demons, and your demons going to torment your ass for staying in the midst of all of these motherfuckers throwing Mardi Gras across the land from coast to motherfucking coast everywhere.
And draw that wisdom from them. They there for a reason. Losing this fight for a reason, because you